There is a building, older than most countries on Earth, that produces meat, eggs, and the most powerful fertilizer of its age, all by itself. No feeding, no labor, no cost. It just stands there, year after year, quietly turning thin air into food. It fed entire villages. It fertilized the fields that fed everyone else. And for a long stretch of history, owning one was a crime if you happened to be born poor. We've been taught to assume that feeding yourself takes endless work. Seeds, soil, water, weeding, animals to slaughter, and more animals to feed, just to keep those alive. We assume that real food security is something you grind out with your own two hands, season after season, and that if it were ever truly easy, well, everyone would already be doing it. But for thousands of years, there was a shortcut. A single structure that fed people on autopilot, asked for almost nothing in return, and made its owner quietly richer every single day it stood. It was so valuable that kings claimed it, lords hoarded it, and ordinary families were forbidden, by law, from ever building one of their own. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how this thing worked, why one bucket of what it produced was worth more than the meat, how it helped armies win wars, and why the day common people were finally allowed to own one again, it came at the end of a revolution. Stay with me, because by the end you'll understand why this forgotten machine might just be the most valuable thing you could put in your own backyard. Let's start with what it actually is. It's called a dovecote, a pigeon tower. From the outside, a tall round tower of stone or mud brick. But step inside, and the walls are honeycombed from floor to ceiling, with hundreds, sometimes thousands, of little nesting holes. And in nearly every one of them lives a pair of pigeons. Here is the part that should stop you cold. You never have to feed them. At first light, the birds fly out, sometimes for miles, and feed themselves on seeds, weeds, and spilled grain scattered across the entire countryside, land you don't own and never have to pay a penny for. At dusk, they return home on their own and roost in your tower. They mate for life. They breed almost year-round. And the young birds, called squab, are plump and ready to harvest in about 4 weeks. So without planting a single seed or scattering a single handful of feed, a family with a tower had a steady, renewable supply of fresh meat and eggs, produced by birds that fattened themselves on everyone else's fields, and flew the wealth straight back to your door. Ancient knowledge. The Egyptians built them. The Romans prized the meat so highly that squab graced the tables of emperors. But it was in Persia that they took this idea to a scale that is almost hard to believe. In the region around the city of Isfahan, builders raised enormous cylindrical towers, some as tall as a house, each one engineered to shelter thousands of nesting pairs. Travelers who passed them assumed they were forts or temples. They were neither. They were food and fertilizer factories standing right out in the fields, running on nothing but sunlight and instinct. And yet, as incredible as that free meat was, it was not the reason the powerful fought so hard to control these towers. The real treasure was something most people would have walked right past, something they were, quite literally, standing on: the floor. Underneath all those nesting birds, year after year, a thick layer of droppings built up. To us, that sounds like a mess somebody has to clean. To a farmer 500 years ago, it was buried gold. Pigeon manure is one of the richest natural fertilizers ever discovered, far more powerful than cow or horse manure, loaded with exactly what hungry crops crave most. A single well-stocked tower could produce tons of it every year. Remember those giant Persian towers? Here is the twist. They were not built to feed people meat at all. They were built to fertilize the land. the melon fields and orchards that the whole region survived on. The birds were simply the machines that manufactured the fertilizer, and the meat was just a bonus on the side. But it gets stranger still. That same dung held a hidden ingredient that changed the course of history. As pigeon droppings age, they produce saltpeter. And saltpeter is the key ingredient in gunpowder. For centuries, the floor of a humble bird tower was a quiet source of the one substance an army needed to make its cannons roar. In some countries, the crown sent out special agents who held the legal power to march onto private land and dig up the floors of dovecotes and barns to harvest it for the war effort. So sit with that for a moment. One simple tower, built by no machine, fed by no one, produced fresh meat, eggs, the most powerful fertilizer of its age, and a raw material of war itself. Food, fertility, and firepower, all from a flock of birds that fed themselves for free. Now, if you owned a thing like that, in a world with no refrigerators, no fertilizer plants, no supermarkets, and no hardware stores, what would you do with it? You would guard it. And if you were powerful enough, you would make absolutely certain that nobody beneath you was ever allowed to have one, which is exactly what they did. Across much of feudal Europe, the right to keep a dovecote became a privilege of the nobility alone. In France, it even had a name, the right of the colombier, and it belonged to the lord. The size of your tower and the number of birds you were permitted to keep was tied directly to your rank and your land. And the ordinary farmer, the peasant who actually worked the soil, in many places, he was forbidden from keeping pigeons at all. And here is where it turns genuinely cruel. The Lord's pigeons did not politely feed only on wild seeds out in the wilderness. They descended in great clouds onto the surrounding fields, the peasants' fields, and they ate the freshly sown grain and the ripening crops. By law, the farmer was not allowed to harm them. He had to stand in his own field and watch the Lord's birds devour his livelihood, knowing that if he killed even one of them to protect his family's harvest, it was he who could be punished. Picture it for a second. You're a farmer. You've spent the whole spring breaking your back to plant a field of wheat that has to carry your family all the way through the winter. And every single morning, a swarm of fat, protected birds drifts down from the Lord's tower on the hill and eats your future, one seed at a time. You cannot touch them. You cannot build your own tower to at least share in the harvest they steal. The machine that makes free food exists. You can see it from your own doorstep, and the law says it will never, ever be yours. Now multiply that resentment across an entire countryside, across generation after generation, and you begin to understand. This was never just a nuisance. It became a symbol of everything that was broken, of a world where the few owned the means to feed themselves, and the many were forbidden from even trying. And it did not stay a quiet grievance forever. When the people of France finally rose up, the hated pigeon right was right there on the list. On a famous night in August of 1789, as the old feudal privileges were torn down one after another, the Lord's exclusive right to the dovecote was abolished along with them. After centuries, the tower was finally free for anyone to build. Think hard about what that means. This was no minor footnote. The right to own a simple bird tower was considered such a powerful and unfair advantage that stripping it away became part of dismantling an entire social order. That is how valuable the powerful themselves believed this thing to be. And here is the part that should land hardest for you, watching this today. For most of human history, the people in charge understood something we have been carefully taught to forget. that the ability to produce your own food, your own fertility, and your own security without depending on anyone above you is real power. That is why they hoarded it. That is why they made it a crime. That same independence has been quietly engineered out of modern life too. Not with a law this time, but with convenience. Until almost everything you eat, everything that feeds your soil, everything you lean on to survive, has to be bought from someone else, every month, for the rest of your life. We put together a complete, step-by-step blueprint for taking that independence back. The forgotten systems, the self-running setups, and the old skills that once let ordinary families feed themselves and build their own rich soil from nothing. All explained simply, even if you have never raised a single living thing in your life. It is called the Self-Sufficient Backyard Blueprint, and the link is waiting for you at the very top of the description. If this story is stirring something in you, that is exactly where to begin. Because here is the good news. Unlike so much that was lost to us, this one thing never fully disappeared, and nothing at all is stopping you from bringing it back. A dovecote is not ancient magic. It is a simple structure and a few birds. On a backyard scale, a modest pigeon loft and a small flock can give you a renewable supply of meat and eggs, fed largely on what the birds forage entirely on their own, plus a steady stream of some of the finest fertilizer you could ever put on a garden. The very same closed loop that fed whole villages for 2,000 years works just as beautifully behind a single ordinary house. The knowledge was never truly destroyed. It was simply buried, the way these things always are, until almost nobody remembered that the strange round towers still dotting the old countryside were once the most quietly powerful machines a family could own. So let's recap what we just dug back up. A building that turns free, foraged grain into fresh meat, eggs, the richest fertilizer of its entire age, and even a raw material of war. A machine so valuable that lords claimed it, kings mined it, and the poor were forbidden by law from ever owning one. A privilege so deeply resented that it was torn down in a revolution. And a forgotten piece of true self-sufficiency that you, today, can rebuild in your own backyard, starting now. They couldn't keep these towers a secret forever. They could only make us forget what they were really for. So let's remember, together. If this opened your eyes, do two things before you go. Subscribe, because every single week we dig up another piece of the wealth and the wisdom they once tried to keep only for themselves, and grab the self-sufficient backyard blueprint in the description. It's the practical step-by-step version of everything this channel stands for. They locked the tower away for centuries. The door is open now, and the harvest begins.